Hey, what's up, metalheads? Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to do something new again. This is a band that was referred to me based off some of the comments I've read and the reactions I've done to Bandmade, which was a Japanese heavy metal hard rock group. Someone recommended this band called Ningen Isu. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Could be wrong. Don't know. But this is another Japanese heavy metal band that's kind of been around since I think about the late 80s. A lot of influence from Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin, King Grissom, things like that. So going to check out a video by them that was recommended to me. Alright, so going to check out this song, The Color Out of Space. Horror and terror. That little opening riff definitely kind of has a horror and terror feel to it. It actually has kind of, I don't know, like this classic just sound you would hear like maybe in those old like 50s horror films, you know, those old Universal pictures like The Wolfman and Frankenstein. That opening riff just sounds like that, and he's playing on a SG model guitar, which Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath made famous. So I read that Black Sabbath was a huge influence for them, so it kind of makes sense that they're playing on an SG guitar, and that riff even sounds like something Black Sabbath would have written, like you would have heard it maybe even off that first Black Sabbath album as well. Kind of just has that little darkness tone to it. Horror and terror, I think, is the best words to kind of describe that opening little riff there. It sounds really cool. Okay. When that little bass and drum line hit and that face just popped up, was not expecting that. No. Pretty good. Okay. Total change up from what they were first doing. That opening riff had kind of that real haunting sound, and then the chords that they were playing, and then it just goes into this like driving classic, almost 80s thrash metal style. Like, I feel like it sounds like something classic Metallica would probably be doing. It just has that sound and that feel of maybe even something like off of Death Magnetic. It's what it kind of makes me think of. And the little bit I kind of saw out of this song, I think it was kind of based off H.P. Lovecraft poems, which, if you know, I believe it's the song All Nightmare Long, was also, I think, believed based off of an H.P. Lovecraft poem, I think. So it has that similar kind of feel and sound. Now, I don't know much about H.P. Lovecraft poems. I just know that he writes a lot of kind of science fiction, horror, poetry that is heavily influenced in films and even music today. But definitely probably something I should check out more. But yeah, it just kind of has that little kind of sound and everything. I'm kind of digging that a bit. Yeah, the chord progressions and everything doing totally has that classic heavy metal, some of that classic thrash riff into it. I love the vocals. I love this guy's voice. It's deep. He sings, but yet there's still kind of a little bit of that growl punch in it. Like you would hear a lot of those classic thrash metal bands. Like that was the thing about thrash metal, that they really didn't scream. They had some growls. You could still hear them singing a bit. Maybe almost like a little bit of just like a one note. They were kind of maybe a one note while they were singing, but you didn't get the growls and the screamings that later would come on with like death metal, black metal, and other subgenres that would form. And so they have just that classic style, that classic sound that I'm really digging right now. Haven't heard anything much quite like this before. So I noticed this the first time they did the chorus. There's kind of like a back, like, oh, just kind of back harmony that maybe the bass player's doing. Maybe the drummer does it too. I'm not sure, but it it adds just that extra haunting layer that's going on with it. Like it's not the main melody. Like at the beginning of the song, that guitar intro, that sounded very like horror and thriller, and it was the main melody. But now they've switched it to kind of that driving riff, focused on kind of that classic heavy metal kind of style and format, and but that background harmony is adding that hauntingness to it again, bringing back kind of that madness and horror and and things happening here. Plus imagery, the cinematography on this, just I love where they're filming this. Yeah, it's great. I love it. Okay. the, the bass player's expressions are priceless. He is a showman. I can imagine he is probably someone, when if you go see them live, which I think they probably do live. I don't know. I'm sure they do live shows, but I would probably watch that bass player and just see his facial expressions. I mean, even in just this video alone, when they do close-ups on his face, I love it. It is awesome. He is really getting into it, and and it's all painted white, so it adds just more of that like horror theme to this. It's crazy. Oh man, this is sounding again like something Black Sabbath would have written. Total going back to that classic British sound, doom metal. This riff that they're playing right here during this bridge sounds like a classic doom metal riff. And I don't think I've talked much about doom metal, and I'm not going to use this video right now to talk much about it, but I'm just going to say one thing about doom metal. I absolutely love doom metal. Okay, now the bass. The guitarist vocals were cool. Like, had that classic British heavy metal, that classic thrash metal sound. The bass player, he has his own sound that he is doing, and his subgenre is definitely kind of more into that doom metal subgenre. So I love that contrast between the two different vocal styles here. Was not expecting the bass player to have anything, but it fits with that face paint that he's doing. It has just that horror sound, that darkness sound to it. I love that little trill riff that they're doing in this bridge breakdown that the guitar's doing. I love that sound. It's that classic heavy metal sound that you don't hear a whole lot today. Of course, because, heavy metal has really evolved and all the different subgenres are doing their own things. But to hear a band like this kind of plain old classic roots like that, this is just really great. Okay, before we get into more of his lead, I just have to say, again, that intro to that lead part sounds freaking like the lead part coming in at the end of Black Sabbath, the song Black Sabbath. Like, that just, man, it just sounds almost like they took the song Black Sabbath but wrote it their way, but still kind of followed that format with that horror intro, that sound at the beginning there, and then moving into what was the verse and chorus riffs that are happening, which are really awesome, and then the breakdown, and then now this lead solo, which I'm really excited to see more about, because I have a feeling this guy's just gonna like thrash on the guitar here. And yeah. Yeah, this is just the way the movements are happening, the time changes. Classic heavy metal that did that a lot. Um, just this vintage sound that they have is crazy. It's definitely not anything I've heard recently a whole lot. So yeah, very, very like interesting. All right, Metalhead. So that was Ningen Isu with The Color Out of Space. And that was a pretty wild ride. When this was referred to me, they did talk about how they had kind of that classic new wave of British heavy metal sound and Black Sabbath and some kind of that 80s thrash a little bit with some doom metal in there. I wasn't quite sure what to expect, but it caught my interest because it's like there was a lot of little subgenres thrown in there, and I'm like, okay, well, let's see what they do. I loved it. So probably even maybe a borderline, maybe even a borderline prog, like a progressive metal band as well, because of the different time changes and signature changes and just the merging of the different subgenres going on. Now, only song I've heard from them, so maybe calling them a prog metal band might be stretching it. I don't know. If you know more about them, please let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about that. But like I said, the song started out with that haunting riff. Again, something like you'd hear from Black Sabbath. And I think I had mentioned that the guitarist was playing on an SG model guitar like Tony Iommi. He made it very famous in Black Sabbath, just that sound for it. And then it just kind of switched into like a thrash metal sound. To me, again, it almost sounded a little bit like something you'd hear from like Metallica, maybe even off of that Death Magnetic album where Metallica kind of went back a little bit to their thrash metal roots and where they wrote kind of their songs with different time changes going on. Not here to talk about that album or anything, but that's just kind of what it reminded me a little bit about. Loved in the chorus how the harmony had this like haunting sound to it. That was a nice added layer. I think without it, the chorus still would have sounded really good and really strong, but that just extra little harmony underneath just added that extra layer to it, which sounded amazing and great. And I love the breakdown and the bass player, oh my gosh, he was getting into this. He is a character for sure. And the face paint, the white paint with the black lips just gave him that horror look. And when he sang in the breakdown bridge, it was totally different. Like that could have been a whole nother band doing this. Like they could have made two bands out of this band, and they could have doubled the audience maybe, I don't know. But that was just really interesting that I was seeing and looking at. Loved the lead solo. The guitarist, he plays amazing lead, and yeah, he did some of that little sliding thrills going in there. It was good. The ending was really cool, just kind of repeating that chorus line over and over there. And the drummer looked, definitely had that vintage sunglasses, the outfit. I love that he had a gong in the back, and he actually hit the gong like that. That was part of the song, not just a prop in the back. But music-wise, yeah, definitely a lot of Black Sabbath influence in there, a lot of thrash influence in there, a lot of doom metal sounds in there. Hearing it after seeing a little bit of what it was recommended to me by makes sense, and it was really good. The way they did it, like, works amazingly. Again, don't know if I would really call them maybe a prog metal band, but King Grissom was apparently one of their kind of influences, or what they're kind of likened to, and King Grissom, kind of a prog rock band back in the day. So kind of see that. Now, video production wise, I loved the backdrop. I loved that garden backdrop. I love the Japanese culture, especially their ancient culture, and they had a lot of that influences in there, even with their outfits. Now, I don't know if that's kind of the outfits they wear, kind of like a bandmate, where they have their specific kind of made butler outfits for their concept. I don't know if they're the same way as that. This is the only video I've seen from them. If you know, let me know in the comments. But I like that traditional robes that they have. Just they're embracing their roots. When you get a band that is not afraid to embrace where they come from, or add their roots to it, that just adds more to it. You know, that to me makes it more of a presentation, more of a entertainment, more of a production, so to speak. And there was like the walkway with the bamboo that they had in there. That was really beautiful. Again, I love the Japanese culture. I've never been to Japan. It is on my bucket list to try to go one day. I'd love to go to Japan, and I'd love to see kind of both like modern Japan, like Tokyo and things like that. But I want to go to the old country Japan, like where they still have a lot of their old nature and history at. So I love that they have that in there, because that speaks to the little history part of me that I love. Overall, the color Out of Space, amazing. And that just kind of like that classic horror sound and feel. Those Hammerhead comics, those Hammerhead horror shows, like just amazing. The font that they used for it had that classic like thriller and chiller kind of feel to it. Like this is something you would just see like on late night Saturday night TV when you're just sitting at home watching old horror flicks. Like that's what it reminds me of. This was amazing. Definitely gonna check out more. If you know of another song or video to check out from them, let me know in the comments below. And also let me know, have you ever even heard of this band? I never heard of them. First time listening to them, so totally opened my mind to something new. How about you? Have you heard them before? Is this your first time listening to them? Love to hear from it. Love to hear from you. As always, thank you for coming to the channel. If you're a first-time headbanger, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that cowbell so you're notified of when new videos come. And as always, keep it loud and keep it metal. Be blessed, everyone.